Before we start, let me give you an A, and also tell me if you can hear my sound okay. It's all right? Fantastic. Here's an A to tune. Fantastic. Is everything okay with the tuning? Great. So, obviously this is slow movement, so we don't have to worry about, I think you can play everything at this tempo. We don't have to really take things even slower. But there is something to be able to live in that world of the breath, when we draw the bow across the string, because essentially I equate the bow with breath. And the other thing I've discovered about myself, or that I know about myself, is I'm probably more of a bow person. As in, I love instruments and I love like the left hand, and I have to work on that. But I am fascinated by how this element of my body and this technical part of the instrument works. And also I'm crazy about trying different bows and everything, and how that also affects the instrument. So I have a special affinity, I think, for right hand things. And in particular, slow bow, drawing it across the string. I just want you to choose, let's try any string you want and just draw it down in a slow way. So, and then again, up bow. Right? It's pretty straightforward. There's almost even no, I don't want the direction to go anywhere. I just want it to be. And my goal is to make as beautiful sound as possible. But when you notice, even when you do that, there is a natural point in the bow where the sound is stronger, and then the sound also is weaker or tapers off. It's kind of like a, sighing in and out. Try one more time and observe where that is at the point in your bow. Right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. For me, it's really at the ends, at the tip and the heel where, because we're physically kind of fighting for control. The thing with slow bow, and this is what I find tricky, is that oftentimes it's against your instinct, because we want things to obviously relax and everything, but with a slow bow, we really want to have that constant sound at all parts of the bow when possible. Try a version now where it's not just like a breath, but actually you want to maintain a constant sound from the heel to the tip. So like this. Yeah, and up bow again. Now that's quite a different feeling. And that means your right arm is so much more activated. Is that correct? Do you feel like you have to be, wow, I'm not just a passive, like I'm gonna let the bow float, but actually I am guiding where the bow happens. Try it one more time and try and maintain that strength and sound all the way through the bow. So down bow. Yeah. And so immediately when you do that, you can actually feel where parts of your arm need strength training. That's what I would feel, is that if it gets tired, it just means your muscles aren't used to doing that all the time. And that's where we have to try this. So I want to try a little bow strengthening exercise when we play. And this will be I use my metronome, so it's helpful if you use your metronome. And I'm going to put the metronome in quavers. And I just want you to, if you watch me, we first try it with 2 quavers to a bow, and then we're going to double it, 4 quavers to a bow, and then we're going to double that, 8 quavers to a bow. So literally, well, maybe we'll just go up to 8 quavers, but if you really want to get nerdy about it, you can go to 16 quavers, 32 quavers, 64 quavers. That's on the extremes. But so here's my pulse. This is at 42. The quaver equals 42, which is on the slow side, but I like that. Can you hear this? Okay, so what we'll do is I'll do 1, 2. Yeah, so let's do that. And again, try and have that strength throughout the bow. So, ready. Right? Pretty easy. That's nice. You have a lot of freedom. Now let's make it 4 quavers in the bow. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're changing the bow speed. Let's try this. Ready, go. Again. Yeah, again, it's also very nice. You learn where to distribute your bow. Basically, for me, if I know I only have 4 beats, I try to, okay, halfway point, I'm there. And then the next 2 quavers. That's me, so that I know I can put my bow into fractions. Let's do 8 beats now for the bow. 8 beats. Let's give that a go. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So, what you start getting into here, obviously the tone cannot be as strong. We kind of have to say, I'm not going to have that tone. It's more, it's softer. But what we start to be aware of is sometimes you might notice that your bow gets weak. Or if you go to the heel, it might feel uncomfortable or shake a little. And again, that is just a sign, okay, your muscles are trying to figure out at that speed, how can we keep things supple and moving? I just want you to do it again and be aware of that. And if things start to shake or sound not good, do what you can with your arm. You just add a little bit more active motion in your arm to help keep your bow steady. So let's do 8 again. 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Up bow. Yeah. Now, just for kicks. Shall we just let's say 12. I won't go to 16. Let's go to 12 counts in a bow. So in my mind, I'm going, okay, 6 counts and 6 counts in an ideal world. Let's give that a go and see how that changes things. 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6, 11, 12. Yeah. So why do I do these exercises? Just because it reveals to me different balance points in the bow. I mean, I wouldn't know exactly how many there are, but when you draw the string across, the bow across the string, obviously the physics of it means you have to balance this bow differently. And your muscles here, both in your hand and your elbow, have to be able to minutely react to that. So sometimes I'll have to lift my elbow more, sometimes I'll have to drop it, sometimes I'll have to strengthen my fingers individually. And it just shows me where different parts of the bow I have to make that adjustment. It's all quite subjective. I mean, there are general things, when you're at the heel, I feel that more of the strength is in my fingers. But as I go further down towards the tip, more of my strength is in my arm, my full arm and elbow. And I'm constantly changing and adjusting that. So it's a fun exercise to try. And see if you can extend it. And the key is to always have this sound. It's a constant sound. You do not want, you'll know. So you work against that to have this nice core constant sound, no matter, even if it was infinitesimally slow. You can try that just for kicks without the metronome. Try a super slow, quiet. That's hard because I can hear myself going, shake, but. And then the same for the up bow. And it's just a nice way to train your arm. So something to think about in terms of technique. And again, things are different when I start putting a finger down. Now you can do that across all strings, but look at the first full bar of our movement. I'm fingering it. In fact, let's just, again, with this exercise in mind, I'm going to put the metronome in, and let's do the first 2 bars of this slow movement. So again, you can kind of think 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's try that. Ready, go. If I wanted to be really pedantic about it, I mean, I'm not necessarily measuring my bow every bar, but if I wanted to be pedantic, the first bar would be half the bow, and then I switch here, right? And then I just divide it, 1, 2, 3. If I want it to be absolutely equal, try doing that. Let's play it again with the metronome, and let's be aware of our bow placement. 3, 4. Yeah. So, if anything, use it as a guide to help give you a framework of where to put your bow. It changes if we want to do crescendo or decrescendo. This is the other layer to things. Look at bar 5 and 6. So we have bar 5, a hairpin, and then bar 6 is just a general crescendo. So again, let's apply now the same concept. We try and divide the bow. This is interesting because in bar 5, the first beat is one bow. So 1, 2, that can be the whole bow if you want. 1, 2, and then you still, on bar 6, you have to crescendo to the end of the bar. So let's try that. I'm going to put the metronome on again, and let's do bar 5 and 6. So, ready, go. So stuff like that, now you're starting to get a better idea of movement of your bow against the beat, against the slow beat. So think about that pulse and that heartbeat, and use that. I like to use the quaver beat to just help me measure where I am in my bow. About, I'd say 80% of the time, I am trying to be efficient with where I put it. Obviously, things change in different parts of the movement. I would like to jump to, can we go to our little bit in bar 27? It's hard for violas because it's, aside from maybe 2 bars or so, we basically do not have the main theme in our part. It is mostly accompaniment. But there are ways we can make this the most beautiful supportive accompaniment we can. So can you go to bar 27? 27 to, again, this is tricky. Now we have slow bow mixed with string crossings. And I don't know if you were in our session last time where I talked about string crossings. You can practice this like a double stop. Something like that. Can we try that version? Because the reason why I want it to be a double stop, I wish I had a magnifying glass. But I basically want the minimal movement when I rock across the strings. I don't want your bow to go. That's an exaggeration. I don't want this jerky motion. I want it's basically I'm dipping into the double stop. Just try that. And then when you take the double stop away, I mean, I will have to move my bow, but it's not in a jerky fashion. It's a more arc smooth. Can we try bar 28? Bar 28, and just try this where the string crossings you play a double stop. So yeah, let's try it. So 3, 4, 1. Da, 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 da. Rest and rest and. That's the tricky one. Can we do that last one, that very last one, which is on an up bow? Ready, go, 1. Yeah. So I'm always looking for smooth string crossings, almost imperceptible bow change. Now try it. Let's go back, bar 28, and do it as printed. And really think of that feeling when you're doing the bow string crossing. So, bar 28. 1, 2, ready, go. 1. Da 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 dee 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 dee. And 4 and 1. Yeah. And then let's play our little solo, 31. Let's go from 31. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, I like thinking of that grace note as kind of a lean. It's quite soulful, not fast, not well, that's my interpretation. Every note actually has a weight. Can we just do the beginning of that bar, 31? 3 and 4. It's a slow bow. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Good. Now, can we go? Let's go from 33. And let's do this little passage. I want to go play from 33 to the downbeat of 36. Let's get these little notes. So this one is tricky. This is actually tricky for the left hand now. So 33, 3 and 4 and... So I actually want to, let's look at the second half of this phrase first, where the crescendo begins in bar 32. This one. This kind of bowing always finds so satisfying, this kind of pa, this grouped double slurred, and give a little bit of a lift in between the slurs. It's not completely legato. I think they would have wanted just a little bit of lift in between. Can we go from there? From that B natural. So 3, 4. Yeah, and as we travel through about a bar 35, the intervals get more impassioned, right? For now, they're kind of like, and then we get octave, kind of more agitated intervals. So really bring that out with your bow as we crescendo. Let's do it again. So 1, 2, ready, go. Yes, good. Can we now go, I want to do the beginnings of our little accompaniments in 41. Those are... Now, this is quintessential accompaniment with a open G string. Let's just do this for 2 bars. 41. 3 and 4 and... another level to our slow bow, because if I look at the groupings, again, it's just grouped into 4 quavers. So in our bow, that's quite easy. We have the leeway. It's not like it's all one, but we can do this. But we have these string crossings. So what I want you to kind of, again, kind of, it's hard to do it as double stops, but try this exercise. And try what it's like to minimally move your arm and your elbow. Maybe I just want to move my lower arm, not the whole thing. Yeah, it's quite gentle movement actually, so it doesn't need to be too active at all. So let's try it now as printed in bar 41 with this kind of gentle string crossing movement. So 3 and 4 and that's more like it, a kind of introverted accompaniment. And even with the crescendo, the hairpins in 42, I think that's more of a feeling than an overt, okay, I must crescendo there. Just think of it as a more intense breath over that particular bar. Great, fantastic. Any questions so far before I move on? Okay, so I just want to practice our one of our 3 bars of a theme. Can we go to bar 60? This one. I divide this. I mean, I know it wants to be, it's one of those instances where Toby was talking, we know the intention of the phrase, but just kind of how to bow it physically, we have to figure this out. This happens when the theme is kind of passing between people. So we're playing it in all different keys, and we have to love our key. You can do, actually, up bow for the first bar and down bow is nice because we want it to land on the quaver. So let's just try that for the harmony of it. So 3, 1 and 2 and yeah. And again, it's not too big, it's just piano. And what I try to do to make it seem legato, this note is very important. The G before the bar line, before I change, I almost have to give it an extra kick with my elbow so that it seems longer than it is. Because what I don't want, again, is the bow to stop. That's too much of a gap in the change. So a trick, if you have to split a bow in the middle of the phrase, just before you're going to do the opposite bow, take that note and lengthen it. It's almost like you're extending the sound. You're trying to give the impression of extending the sound before you change the bow. I give it a little bit of extra momentum instead of dying. So can we do it from there, bar 60? Let's do it a couple of times together. 1 and 2 and... just try it as it is. Try it all in one up bow. I realize we haven't done that. Let's just see what that's like. Ready, go. And try it down bow just to try something different. Ready, go. So the reason why we want to do it is we want to feel what like that sounds like. Now let's try and recreate that feeling with separate bows. Try it with separate bows. 1 and 2 and... Yeah, and what I also learned is when I change at the bar line, I don't want to emphasize it. I have to make the down bow quite soft, quite delicate, so that I don't get an accent. I don't want that. Almost like it's the end. One last time, let's do bar 60. 1 and 2 and... Good. It almost works as a very like tasto-y sound. But you have to work on that with your colleagues on what kind of sound. Okay. Pizzicatos are fine. Another texture. Let's just try that from bar 67. Bar 67. Ready, go. Yeah, there's a little bit of intensity in your left hand that you can add when the harmony changes in beats 4 and beats 1. Let's do it again. Ready, go. Yeah. And then let's do this figuration, the next one in bar 69, the pickup. 2, 3. Actually, the bowing I like to do is separate. Let's try different ways. Actually, let's try it. Let's try it all separate. Down, up, down. Down, up, down, down, up, down. Right on the grace note. Grace note of 69. Ready, go, 1. That's basically what it goes. Can we try it hooked? Let's try it there, right on it. Ready, go, 1. Maybe the last one you would make it up, down. And now, just for kicks because we can we start it up bow? And then as it comes. So it's up bow. Let's just try it for there. Up bow. Ready, go, 1. I find that I personally don't get as good grip on an up bow in that stroke. So I prefer playing the grace note on a down bow if possible. And it is also quite nice if it's hooked. So we could go hooked for 1, hooked for 2nd, then separate the last. You could do that. You can come up with any kind of combination as you want. Great. Any questions so far? I would like to look at this sextuplets now because we have a lot of them, violas do, and we have two lots of them. So the first set of sextuplets in 72, again in this beautiful D flat major section, we find it's nice to make them sound a bit heavenly somehow. So now, and again, I also want to explore different sonorities. So can we try it in third position? Let's just play for 4 bars, bar 72, and of course change your fingering as needed. But I'll start in third position, sorry. But we're gonna try it another time afterwards, another way. So 72, 3, 4. Yeah, all right. So a few things going on here. Again, always remembering back to your slow bow, right? And how you measure it. It is useful because it's just basically 2 beats per stroke. It's very low down on the viola, which makes it difficult. Both in sound, doesn't project, but it's just like you're hunched over like, oh. So again, always try to keep even shoulders and bring the bow above rather than trying to hunch over like that. Can we try giving it a little bit more sound? I know technically it's pianissimo, but it'll only help us if we play a little bit more than that so that we feel secure in both in the pitch but in the quality of sound. For myself, I really dislike being that color on the low string. I like to be... I like having a little bit of grit. So let's try it again in third position, starting with that kind of sound. You know, try even a mezzo piano if you want. So 3 and 4 and... And I think that level of playing is good. That dynamic and that quality of sound is good for that, which means I have to come up for myself in dynamic. It's okay to be that loud. Just for kicks, can we try bar 72 in first position? And see what that sounds like. We'll just do 2 bars. So 3 and 4 and... Yeah, again, so this becomes an exercise in string crossings. Again, the same thing. I won't, maybe we won't dwell on it too much here because later on actually it becomes necessary. But basically, you know, we're essentially wanting to hold that double stop. Right, that's the harmony. So again, a way you can practice that if you want is try the double stop. Play one note. And then try it now, with that in mind, try it separately. It's an exercise. In fact, let's jump. Can we jump to 12, 13, 114? Here's where it becomes necessary. I mean, you can try it in the third position, but I would recommend the string crossing. So can we just do the first bar? Bar 114. Let's just do 114. Ready, go. Actually, I went on. It's quite satisfying to play, right? With this C string, we have an aid of the resonance coming out. So we don't have to actually work too hard. String crossings, I mean, again, for some reason, it's a lot easier to go to an open string rather than a fingered string. It's a lot easier because that resonance is already inbuilt. Can we go 114? Let's play 114 to the downbeat of 117. Let's track that. Again, being aware of your slow bow and everything. So 3 and 4 and... how it tracks with the C string. The thing I would actually warn here is not to get too loud. It's the opposite of before, where I think our dynamic is piano, so really stay piano. It has the tendency because we love the resonance, and I don't blame you if you want to get louder, but we run the risk of overpowering everybody else. So with the C string, it's great. Can we go on 117 to the end of bar 121? Let's look at these accompaniments now. So bar 117. Ready, go. Sorry, I messed up. So 3 and 4 and... trickier. And also, I apologize. I think 117, the way that I have my bowing, would start up bow. So 117 up bow. I want to try an exercise. Can we do the harmony only? So don't worry about that. But I want you to play when you can double stops. Okay, let's try it. If it's on the same string, just play the first note. Just play the first note. But let's try it from bar 117. If you can play double stops, try it. So 1, 2, ready, go. The tricky one is bar 1, 2, 1. These chords here. Let's just try bar 1, 2, 1. Just the chords itself. 1 and 2 and... yeah. And so now that that's clear, let's play the printed version. Da 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 da. 1, 2, 1. Ready and go and. Yeah. So now that we have this underpinning of that harmony, it's really good to again, you can practice that. It's really good to feel that. And then once you've done that, now let's put the notes in as printed. Let's do the whole thing actually. Bar 114 all the way to 121. 114. So 1 and 2 and. That's a workout for your right hand, and also it being so low on the string. It gets a little tricky at 117. I want to ask you, do you find it difficult or easy to do the dynamics, like the crescendi and the hairpins, especially when pacing the bow and your bow's going like this? Hopefully it's not too bad, but there are a lot, if you actually think about it, there are a ton of mechanical things going on all at once, especially in bars 118, 119, and 120. We have obviously the slow bow, the string crossing, the harmony change, and then we have the variation of dynamics. And so we have to be aware of all those elements in order to make it a successful musical run. Can we go from bar 117, and I want you to anticipate all those things and be thinking of all of those, 117, so that we are at a true forte in more 120, and possibly even more. The real arrival is the half bar of 120. That second forte is the arrival point. So like, plan your journey so that that's where you go, the apex. Let's go from 117. 117, I'm going to start up bow. So 3 and 4 and. Good. The thing that I learned from that run is actually in 119, make sure you are really quiet. Make sure you start really quiet. And that means in the little hairpin in 118, obviously grow, but also go back down. Don't go higher, because then if you're quiet at 119, it really gives you the room to build to that forte rather than running out of air or breath. Great. Okay, can we just do, I want to do 2 more things, I realize. Can we do this scale down at the end, the last thing we have? 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 129, I think. 6, 7, 8, yeah. Very easy C major scale. Just play a C major scale down. Right? But it has to be fast. Da, 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 da. So I'll give a count in 1, 2, 3. Da, 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 da. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. In your head, can you think of a scale going up? What the violin's playing, and play along with that scale going up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. It has to be that kind of light and not necessarily intrusive into the violin one scale. And the last thing I want to do, which, is not necessarily the most interesting thing, but I'm, again, finicky about the bow, is let's look at bar 84 or 83. You have this sempre staccato. Okay, the forlorn C string, but he's very particular. So let's just try that stroke. Sempre staccato. 3, 4. So I think this is staccato, yes, short. We want that dot. But I also want body. I want a little bit of that, a little bit of heart edge. So can we try it first on the string? Don't do an off, don't do this off, off. I want you to go. So you feel that, right? Now, have that heaviness, and now just make it off the string. Let's see what that sounds like. Ready, go. It's looking good, it's looking good. I find that it is harder for me because my elbow has to be very active. It has to be active to have that sound. But now there's some body there and a little bit of bite and still this dot on it. Let's try it one more time from bar 83. 1 and 2 and... then you're on a roll. Can we try bar 82 into 83? The transition is what makes it hard. I'm gonna do my original bowling. Like that, yeah. So, bar 82. 1 and 2 and... I admit I did not diminuendo so much. I didn't think about that. But the stroke is really something to be finicky about when you're trying this. It's not, oh, great, I've gotten to this part and I just have an open C string and I can relax. No, you have to be always active in the bow stroke and the rhythm. Great, well, I think we've come to an end for the viola session. Thank you so much as well. Again, any other questions before we go for a break? You've been doing a lot of great work. I've been seeing all of you. It's fantastic. Thank you, everybody, and see you later this week. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thanks.